Grinding large cracks in a concrete porch prior to filling. William Hovey Smith, 2024. This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And I'm not in the woods now. I want to tell you about my newest best friend here and what I'm doing. Hurricane Helene has damaged my house, and in particular, I have a suspended concrete slab as a front porch that I had poured back in the 1970s. And I had it suspended rather than being resting on the ground as most concrete slabs are. Well, the problem with that is that it is under stress and consequently has cracked. And these cracks are filled with moisture from time to time and freeze and weaken the slab. So what we are doing are using a concrete grinder here to actually take off the top layer, level it up, and then we're going to apply a waterproof, strong, adhesive polymer compound to actually fill the cracks that not only fill and provide waterproofing, but also re-cements the slab together, or so they say. Well, this is the best alternative I have other than ripping out the entire slab, taking down the entire porch, rebuilding the whole thing from the ground up, which obviously is a very expensive proposition. If I can keep water out of this slab, it'll last as long as I will. Another couple of decades maybe. But that's what we're after today. It all started with little cracks like these. This one runs almost the length of the porch all the way across. And then there's another one at right angles to it that runs over under Hound Dog and to the house itself. Now, I wasn't much concerned when I first saw these. All right. Yeah, no problem. Well, I was wrong. What happens over the years is these cracks get water in them, and when we have freeze-thaw cycles, it expands the water and the cracks grow and grow and grow. And since it is actually under load because it's suspended, then it starts to separate. You see here nearer the edge of the porch where, yes, not only is it started to separate, but it started to bend and spall. Yeah, whole hunks of concrete are coming off it, and it is bending down, and the cracks are enlarging. On the front of the porch, where there is more water exposure, the cracks have indeed become large indeed, and actually separated a bit of concrete, and whole hunks are coming off. Again, this is mostly due to the freeze-thaw cycle. And so the solution is to fill it with a polymer compound that is water repellent, and then coat the whole thing with a water repellent seal to help prevent this from worsening, and perhaps help it a little bit so far as strength is concerned. Day before yesterday, I did a bit of trial grinding and cleaning, just to make sure I had the tool assembled correctly. I had the vacuum cleaner hooked up and read the directions. Yeah, I did that. And got some idea of how to use it. Well, we've exposed some of the cracks, and you can see the problems I'm running into. And the next step at this stage would be to clean the cracks indeed with a cleaning solvent, an organic solvent, and then actually apply the compound to it. This is a Rust-Oleum compound, and it has a very brief working life, and it sets very quickly. Completely sets within hours, and within 20 minutes they say you can drive a forklift over it. Okay, it's strong stuff, but we got to get it down before about 4 or 5 o'clock if we're going to use it at all. There are many cautions that Rust-Oleum stresses about using their compound, and that Wen Hen Hu, a good Chinese company, stresses about using their grinder and cutting concrete with it. One very practical thing is you're going to be on your knees. So this is from Harbor Freight, and they're inexpensive knee guards. One tip about tightening them here is to run a pencil under this, and then you can pull and pull and pull and get it so it'll actually stay on your knees even when you stand up. Otherwise, it tends to run around your ankles when you stand, which is, well, inconvenient and could cause tripping and falling. Now, I'm using our instrument itself. I have it hooked up to a small vacuum cleaner that I already owned in the shop, and this draws off some of the dust, but certainly nothing like all of it. Some of it remains on the floor, which needs to be swept between applications, and some of it remains in the air. So yes, you do need dust mask if you're going to employ this material. And we have same that you will see later. It's also noisy, and you don't want dust getting in your ear canal, so you'll want to use earplugs, regardless of the sound, just to keep the dirt out, because this dust is going to be everywhere. Now this is particularly true if you happen to be working in a basement or some such place where there's nowhere for the air to get out. Here on the porch, at least the wind will drift some of it away. In working this unit, it has a diamond cutting blade. These are actually filled with industrial diamonds. And that's what cut this, and that is what cuts this rock. Because this rock has granite for filler. It's hard. Porch has a hardness of 7, this has a hardness of 10. And so these actually cut. Now they recommend that you cut at about a 15-degree angle. That is, you hold it up like this at a small degree, and then you make a straight cut. And keep out of the way of all your entangling lines and hoses. Yeah, important. To start it and run it, you have a button on one side and this on the other, which you must press simultaneously. I have small hands, comparatively speaking, and it's difficult for me to press this button and pull up. This requires some strength to do. Otherwise, when you're cutting, you start it, you run it to full revolutions before you start the cut. You don't put it on the work and start the cut. It will walk all around on you. And you could very well damage this cutting blade. Also, if it should stop, if you should lose your grip here in the handle for whatever reason, then pick it up, let it stop, restart it, go to full strength again, and then resume your work. Otherwise, again, you may break this. It might not come on a slow boat from China, but yeah, these are not picked up just anywhere. It's a specialized piece of equipment, and it used specialized fittings and tools. It's good, it works, and you'll see it work. All right, we're going to get all our gear on, get started, and do some cutting. I've published more than 20 outdoor books, business books, and also now novels and screenplays, and was recently inducted into Who's Who of America. So if you'd like to think about a Christmas gift for somebody or a gift to your local library, please include one of my titles. We're now working our way across the porch toward the camera, and I've got the vacuum hooked up to the cutting machine, and that takes some of the excess dust immediately. And then when I'm through with a cut and have to move, I take the hose and use that to get the dust out of the cracks itself, or at least as much as I can. Now before we apply the epoxy, we are going to clean those cracks with a fluid in addition. But for now we want to get as much of the loose debris out so we can get a strong bond. You can see where these small cracks are hiding much deeper flaws in the concrete. Well, the sun is going down, so we didn't make it all the way through. But we did manage to get all the grinding done today. So that's finished. So tomorrow we'll do the preparation and the application. In the next video, I will fill and dress these cracks. Hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Goodbye and God bless.